for Culture Day, I decided to wear my Union Jack dress to represent the music and the nationality where I come from. It made me feel proud, it made me feel confident. All my friends were saying, oh my god, what a great dress. I walked in and my teacher was like, oh, is that like Ginger Spice? I was like, yeah. It felt normal, I felt proud, yeah. The first teacher I saw, she straight away just took me to go get changed. She didn't want to hear about my dress or see it. She just straight away wanted me to get changed and not be in it. Another teacher tried to stop me and said, you can't be in that, it's your nationality and not your culture. And some other girl who was wearing her family tradition, like rugby top, got told to change as well. They asked me to come with them and to change into second-hand school uniform, and then they said that I didn't sign a form. When the head of year did ring my mum and she said she did sign it, yet they still didn't want me to wear it.
I went to the school to pick her up to see your daughter, who's, she's a grade A student, and she's sat in reception like she's being punished for something. She wasn't allowed in school, she wasn't allowed to take part, the school wasn't willing to read her speech, they weren't interested in anything she had to say. She was literally put out to one side and treated like she was doing something wrong, and you could see in her face she didn't, she was upset. It's terrible because this is a 12-year-old child's interpretation of what British culture is to her. So for example, mine would be perhaps a man with a pinstripe suit and a bowler hat, drinking a cup of tea. A 90-year-old person's might be something else, but this is a 12-year-old's representation of what British culture means to her, and she was silenced and she was shut down, and she wasn't the only one, there was other kids there. And for me, these kids need to be proud of where they come from, and they need to learn about and share their experiences about their culture. And it happens too often these days. People are told to, take your flag down or be quiet. It's not about you, it's not about your culture, it's about everybody else's. The school weren't very interested to begin with in communicating with me. They were trying to get me to take a phone call the following day. I had to demand more or less there and then for somebody to come and speak to me. They kept it quite brief. We took Courtney out of school. I think I got a phone call Sunday evening with an apology from the school, and they did a complete U-turn, and they have apologised and they have realised that they've done something wrong. But this still happens in schools, and this still happens to British kids. If this happened to anybody else, there'd be an uproar about it, and we sit back and we're quite tolerant and we let it go. But this time, we can't let this sort of thing happen to our kids. They're the next generation, they're the voices. And if we start silencing them now and not teaching them to be proud of their culture, then where do we end up?
A girl has been sent home today in the UK on Cultural Diversity Day within her school for wearing a Union Jack and a Union Jack hat. It's Cultural Diversity Day. She wants to celebrate her culture. And she's been sent home in the UK for celebrating the culture of the UK. I can't do this anymore. I actually cannot do this anymore. Why is our country for everybody else other than us? This poor girl has turned up at her school dressed in non-school uniform with the rest of her friends. I'm not going to put any photos up because she's underage. I don't want to put her face out in the public because she'll get hate. I'm not doing it. Go look it up. She wanted to celebrate her culture, the culture that her grandparents, her great-grandparents died and fought for. The culture we have all grown up on. The culture that has worked for hundreds of years in this country. And she has been sent home for celebrating it. The UK has fallen, and if you send your children to school, just know that the schools are completely complicit in brainwashing these children to hate their own country, to hate their own people. Get them out of the schools. Get them out. This is shocking. I'm actually livid. I am fucking livid. 2025 and our beautiful country is dying. Share this. Please share this. Get it out there.
The young schoolgirl who got sent home for wearing the Union Jack Spice Girl dress is now going to be appearing centre stage at a Mr. Robinson rally later this year, and she will be allowed to do the speech that she was oppressed for. This is complete bullshit, and this is complete manufactured outrage. The guy who was getting interviewed, her father in The Sun, you know, the most trustworthy newspaper in all of the UK, he was like, I'm a nice, normal, tolerant guy. And you don't go from being a nice, normal, tolerant guy to then going down the pipeline where you're going to literally be centre stage at a Mr. Robinson rally. You are literally falling for the propaganda of the very rich elites whose wealth is literally doubling in this country every 5 years to distract you away from the real problems in society. And this is what frustrates me the most. The girl did not meet the brief, and I hate the fact that we're having a culture war over a little girl in school. Could the school have handled it better? Absolutely, that can be the story. But she did not meet the brief. It wasn't dress up as your favourite pop star. Just stop and think about it just for a second. Most of the media is owned and ran by the most wealthiest people in this country. Most of the writers, most of the journalists, most of the people on TV, GB News, the majority of them went to private school. They are the richest people in this country. And they are saying, here's a story that you need to be angry about, while our wealth goes up year on year, while we put our children in private school who will continue to rule their institutions within society, while we constantly make you angry at each other. Now, this doesn't mean that certain stories don't merit any conversation. The idea like immigration, certain culture war issues, we need to have time to talk about them, but the disproportionality of all of this is ridiculous. The people who have all the money and power to change society are telling you to be angry about something else that isn't related to their money and power and influence, and I'm so fed up of this. And even Mr. Robinson has made himself a millionaire out of this. We know from court documents that he has gambled away hundreds of thousands of pounds, that he is a very rich man, that he has avoided tax. And oh my God, are we seriously on day 3 of talking about this story where there's multiple lives, where people are discussing this, where it's headlined on all the right-wing tabloid media? Are you kidding me? There are literally so many more problems in society, and you are just eating up the propaganda. You're eating it up, and you are never full, and you are never full. And we need to stop.
A student was sent home after wearing a Union Jack dress. The fact that this is making national headlines is a recession indicator. You can't even tell me twice. When we have kids going to school every single day hungry, when we have abysmal housing in this country, a tax rate that is absolutely horrendous and not getting the value for our money for it, and our government sending billions to Ukraine and Israel but can't afford to pay our doctors what they deserve, and a girl who's wearing a Union Jack dress who's going to do speeches for Tommy Robinson is making front news. It's a recession indicator. I'm actually done like that.
Oh dear. It's a shame that 12-year-old girl got sent home from school for wearing a Union Jack dress on her school culture day. So lucky that she's got such a supportive dad who within 24 hours was on GB News, had been interviewed by The Sun, and has since agreed for her to say her speech at a Tommy Tippy rally. He's even let Tommy Ten Names share a video of his daughter jumping around in really short tight shorts to over 1 million of his Twitter followers. He's made sure that everyone knows how ridiculous the school's decision was by having his daughter's photo spread all over mainstream media. He's been fiercely defending his daughter's choice to wear a Jerry Halliwell Spice Girl dress to school for their culture day, where the school had invited kids to wear traditional cultural dress instead of school uniform. I don't know, wearing a dress inspired by a Spice Girl whose dress was so short that you could see her knickers seems more of a choice of a middle-aged man to me, rather than a 12-year-old girl who wasn't even around when the Spice Girls were at the height of their fame. He's so supportive. He's letting a GoFundMe run, which has so far raised over £1,000 for his daughter. And he's so kind that he's going to be looking after the money himself. He's just looking after her and her choice to be patriotic. He even supported her patriotism by hanging up a Union Jack as a backdrop when they'd been interviewed by The Sun. It's just a shame it was upside down.